Hello YouTube, Joey here from TeamBurningInfinitey, bringing you guys another deck profile. And as you guys can see, it's a Darkness Dragon World deck profile. And not only is it a Darkness Dragon World deck profile, it's the new Black Dragons. It revolves around mill and uses Necrovolve as a backup engine, so let's jump straight to it. Our buddy is Black Companion Devlon, 4,000 power, 3 critical, 4,000 defense. Says 2. When this card is destroyed, both players send the top 2 cards of the deck into the drop zone, gain life. So 3 crit, which is really nice. Not terrible stats. It can't be crossbowed or Better Call Buried. And he mills your opponent's drop zone, as well as giving you an extra life on death. So the first time you play him, you're probably going to gain 2 life. You get a 3 critter in there, so people are kind of tempted to remove it. Call it to the center, it's an easy mill too. It's just an overall really nice card to play. Going on to the 0s and 1s, we play 1 Dawn of the Distant Days, 2/1/2, and he's the Boomerang Dragon. So he bounces back to your hand after attacking. He's Nominee Lord, so you can play 1 copy of it in a world that's not Legend World. Really nice. Just play for open sire plays and 4 attacks and whatnot. Really good stuff. Play 2 copies of Black Gloom Balsam, 3,000 power, 2 critical, 1,000 defense. When he enters the field, if you have another Black Dragon on your field, put top card of your deck into the Gauge. So we play him for Gauge Excel, and he's 2 critter. It's really nice, and he's free to call, so benefits. 2 copies of Death Gaze Dragon SD. Between this and the next monster, I play 2 or 3. I like 2 of this and 3 of the other monster. You'll see it in a second. But let's go over SD. 6/1/1. He can only be called if your buddy's a Black Dragon like Befagal. Spectral Strike, 1 damage when it destroys a monster. And his third effect is when this card destroys a monster, send 1 card from your opponent's drop zone to the gate. Send 1 card from your opponent's Gauge into the drop zone. I don't know why I had a hard time saying that. Probably because I'm speaking really fast. But basically, destroy something, deal damage, and they lose a Gauge. Really nice, beats out a lot of cards, and it's really useful. So yeah. Then we play 3 copies of Black Dragon Crabless. When this card destroys opponent's monsters, send the top 2 cards to the deck into the drop zone. 6/1/1, so same stats as Death Gaze SD, and he's just mill. Really useful. He was actually the original blade, my first version of this deck, but through a lot of testing and changing, he's a pretty solid 2 to 3 of. And for the last size one of the deck, we play 4 copies of Servant of the Wicked Lord Nightmare. 2/2/2, 1 Gauge call cost. When he enters the field, add destruction back from your drop zone. We play this because it gets back Necrovolves and removal cards, and it's just a free plus all around. Because when he enters the field, you add destruction back from your drop zone. So really nice, and he's 2 critter. The only part is, once he's on the board, no one really cares about him, so you kind of have to be careful about when you play him and whatnot. Moving on to the 2s. 1 copy of 5th Omni Dragon Lord Crimson Drum. 6/2/6. Pay 2 Gauge, put top card of your deck into the soul call cost. 2 effects. First one's Soul Guard, and the second one is when your opponent declares an attack, pay 1 life, and if you do, redirect the attack from redirect that attack to itself, and he's really useful because it combos with a few other cards in the deck. Also, this is not a counter timing, so after using this effect, you could use your counter timing, which is really useful. 2 copies of Death Wizard Dragon, 3/2/3, so Systemic Dagger stat. When this card enters the field, take damage, and if you do, well, not if you do, you have to, and then you put top 2 cards of your deck into the drop zone, or not into the drop, into the Gauge. Really useful. Gauge Excel. You kind of need the Gauge Excel between this and Balsam, so you can keep playing your cards, because a lot of things this deck costs Gauge, as you guys can see. Moving on, probably one of the most hyped up monsters in the deck and possibly the game, Void Omni Wicked Lord Necrovolves. 6/2/3, size 2, pay 1 Gauge call cost. Omni Lord, so you can play in a deck as one of, this is not Darkness Dragon World. And he has the effect of, when a monster in your opponent's field is destroyed, deal damage equal to that monster's size, so free damage whenever you destroy. Oh my gosh, it's really good. It's great card for anything. Next we have 4 copies of the Buddy, which I already explained. So that's it for all the monsters. Sorry for the noise. My dad's on the phone. So that's it for the monsters. Sorry, I just want to get this stuff out of the way. Next for the spells. 1 copy of Death Trap. Pay life cast cost. Destroy a monster on your opponent's field. If that monster just has 2 or less, you can pay Gauge and add it back to your hand. Unfortunately, this ridiculous card is not a counter, but it's still really good removal because it's life-based, and you can destroy any card, including size 3s. which helps a lot. And I play as a 1/0 for multiple reasons. 1, it can bounce itself back to the hand. 2, because I play multiple copies of Death Trap. And 3, because Nightmare adds it back from the drop, if I ever mill it or anything. Next, we play 2 copies of Black Avenger. You know, cast this card if your life is at 5 or less. Pay a gauge cast cost, and choose up to 1 size 1, up to 1 size 2 monsters from your drop zone, add them back to your hand. So basically monster recovery in the mid-late game, because sometimes you need those extra cards in hand. Next up, we play a pretty interesting card. Play Void Slasher. You may cast this card if your opponent has 5 or more cards in their drop zone. Cast cost, pay 1 gauge. Deal 1 damage to your opponent, and if there are 10 more cards in their drop zone, deal 3 damage instead. This card may only be used once per turn. Basically, you use this in mid-late game and you deal 3 damage for a gauge. It's a lot better Transflame, and it's pretty easy to get off. And it can actually win you quite a few games, so that's why I play that. 2 copies of Dark Fog, pay 1 gauge cast cost, and counter for this turn, all monsters on your left and right cannot be destroyed. So, basically, protection on the left and right. This is one of the main combos you do with Crimson Drum, where you put them on the left and right, and then your opponent has a really high crit field. Oh, pay a life, redirect that attack, pay a life, redirect that attack, pay a life, redirect that attack, and my cards are destroyed, which is absolutely beautiful. Moving on, we play 3 copies of Business Symphony, probably a really well-known card already, as if some of these cards weren't. Melee cast this card if your life is at 6 or less, pay a gauge, draw 2 cards. It's basically a nice one at 6 or less life. You just need the hand advantage, so yeah. Then we play 4 copies of Death Grip, pay 1 gauge, cast cost, counter, destroy such less monster on the field. This is why we play the 1 Death Trap, basically removal everywhere. It's destruction attribute, so Nightmare can add this card back too, aside from Negative Walls and Death Trap, so yeah. Variety and options. And moving on to the nullifiers, we play 4 copies of Black Dragon Shield. You know, cast this card if you would be dealt damage, you need to have no concern. Counter, nullify the reduce the damage to 0 if you do gain life. So basically, you just stop any damage, including burn damage, as long as it says that damage cannot be reduced. And no matter what, you gain life. So yeah, I didn't mean and if you do, it's really and you gain life, but yeah. And the other nullifier we play, yes, we play more than 1 nullifier in Darkness Dragworld, that's not Midnight Shadow, is 4 copies of Inferno Shield. Some people may question this. It's something I'm actually trying, it's been working out pretty well. You want to cast the card if you're being attacked directly. Cast cost, destroy a monster on the field. That seems kind of obligatory, but in this deck there actually are quite a few monsters your opponent may not attack. For instance, it could be Balsam, it could be one of these 2 monsters if they don't, well, it'd probably be closer like Krabos, but Nightmare's a really big target. Drum's actually a pretty nice target considering he has Soul Guard, so you can destroy him. The Death Wizards are pretty big to avoid, and so are your Befagals. So most of the time this card's actually sort of free. And if you do it with Befagal, you gain 2 life, you mill 2 cards from the deck, and you gain a gauge, because it has counter, nullify the attack, and you put top card of your deck into the gauge, and you gain 1 life. And I believe, oh yeah, this card also can't be nullified. So it's an unnullifiable no as well, which is really nice. So all of that can be triggered off from destroying 1 Befagal. Really nice. Continuing into the items, we have 4 copies of Sickle of Revenge Avenger, which is a really redundant name in my opinion. Equip cost, pay 1 gauge in a life, and is 1 ability. When this card would attack, put the top card of your deck into the opponent's drop zone, and then if your opponent has 6 or more cards in their drop zone, this card gains Penetrate. Also, its stats are 5,000 power 2 critical, so it becomes a Hysteric Spear essentially that mills on every attack, which some people find kind of weird and useless, but I think this card's very good for this deck because you just constantly mill. And I'm sorry, my cat's trying to get in over here. I don't know why she wants camera time, but sorry, I can't give it to her. And the last 2 cards of the deck, which are impacts, or not really impacts, they're impact monsters, the new mechanic of the game, is 2 copies of Abigail Lost Horizon 736. Impact monsters to melee call during the final phase normally without using card effects, and its call cost is pay 2 gauge and destroy a black dragon monster on your field, and he has the ability of when this card enters the field, destroy a card in your opponent's field. So basically, he enters field, you pop something, and then you get to attack with him during the final phase. So they're both It's regarding both an impact on monsters, so any questions like deck sheet registration, you can just write it down as either. I'm probably going to end up writing it down as impact. I play 2 of him because I don't think he's a terrible card, but I don't think he's an amazing card. His call cost can be a bit annoying at sometimes, considering the fact that it has to be a black dragon. I can't destroy Crimson Drum or Dawn if need be. Also, it's 2 gauge, and this deck can burn gauge pretty fast or pretty slowly depending on the hand. So it's a very on and off card, so that's why we only play 2. So yeah, that's it for the deck profile. Let me know what you guys thought. If you guys enjoyed the deck and want to see the sideboard, give this video, let's say, 13 likes. And if you guys want to see this game in the match, put it down in the comment section down below. I'll try and get those videos get to you as fast as I can, but it may be a while considering there's a lot of things going on with me right now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more Buddyfight content. And Joey from TeamBurningInfinitey signing out. Peace, guys.